What's up everybody, Kyle Chris back with another Dragon Ball Super deck profile video, and today I'm going to be going over a set 12 variant of Vegex, everybody's favorite leader from set 10. This leader has gotten kind of off the hype train a little bit just because of the ban to the Overwhelmed Trunks that allows you to play out the Splittering Mind package a little bit easier, but I think this deck still can be good in some ideas. There is a tournament promo that we'll go over in this deck that when this card comes out, it may possibly change how the deck runs a little bit. It may not. Just depends on if you find that package to be formidable or not. So make sure you guys like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of the deck profile down below. I will leave a deck list down below as well, so you guys can check that out. So you guys have a full deck list in the ratios and everything. And we'll get right here into the deck profile. So we know with Vegex, you burst the top 5 cards of your deck, draw one, and you have a bunch of free plays that you can play off of that. And then at 4 life, you can restand 1, draw 1. You do the same thing, but this time you draw 1, burst 5, and then give double strike to a unison. And then if you have 20 cards in your drop area, you cannot deck out, which is pretty good for a deck that likes to burst a lot. So some of the stuff that will look very, very familiar to mostly anybody who's played against or has played Vegex is going to be all of the free play cards from the starter deck. We play 4 of those still. It's still too good not to play. You're getting so much value off of these cards just by being able to, even if you hit multiple of these, it doesn't matter. You're free playing one of them. Get a 19k body on board. These are pseudo combos. If you have less than 5 cards in your hand, you have a blocker that allows you to self-awaken, and you have your unison that you can play out for free. So there's just so much value here. Generally, the average mill, you should be hitting at least 2 of these your first 2 turns. That's kind of the idea. If you're able to hit at least 2 combination of these, whether you hit this and this, or you hit 2 of these, or 1 of these and this, it doesn't matter. As long as you're hitting 2 every mill for the first maybe 2 turns, those are average mills. If you're hitting 3 or 4, there's a good chance you will win that game, just because you're providing way too much value on the board for your opponent to be able to play, especially for 1 or 2 energy. So 4s of all those just to keep the ratios intact, and you should be able to hit all of those. We do run the actual Vegex engine from set 10, which is the 6-drop and the 7-drop. The 6-drop, on turn 3, you can Union Patora with a Trunks Xeno and a Vegeta Xeno from the drop. And then this card comes into play. These cards go underneath it. Or I'm sorry, the warp. Is it the warp? Yeah, it's the warp. So you can choose cards from the warp, sorry, when you play this card. And which is nice is because when Vegeta leaves the battle area, he goes to the warp anyways. This card comes into play. You get to choose a 4 less from your drop area, add it to your hand. So you can choose one of these if you want. We have better targets in the deck. And it's just be a black card. Nope, just one battle card. So that's actually pretty helpful. And then it's a 25k double strike. And then the 7-drop comes in as a Xeno Evolve, which what Xeno Evolve means is the card that it's evolving into goes to the warp. So this card goes to the warp. And then the 2 fusion targets, so the Vegeta and the Trunks will go to the drop area. So when this card comes in active mode, it is a 20k double strike when it swings. You get to send one of your opponent's battle cards to the warp. So it's a really strong engine still. I think without all of the overrealm in the deck actually allows itself to play out some of this stuff. So it is pretty good. You also can use cards that are with Tora. You also can use cards from your hand, and I believe field to do it as well. So you can also choose that as well. So you don't have to just choose cards from your warp. All right, so the new card is going to be the Son Gohan and the Trunks packages. So currently I run a split of 2 of each because I don't have some of the cards that you really need, being the 2 TP cards. Well, technically 1 TP card for this deck, but so you have the Catastrophic Premonition Trunks and Son Gohan, and then you have the Marvelous Might Super Saiyan 3 Son Gohan and Trunks. So the 2 cards here at the bottom, these are your drop area plays. So when these cards are in the drop area, when they're sent to the warp by a skill, just by a skill, they go to the bottom of your deck instead. So that's your skill or one of your opponent's skills. So if you're playing against the Shroom Salsa deck and they choose this to put it into your warp, it goes to the bottom of your deck. Play that against the Draftbox Demigra, goes to the bottom of the deck. any other ability that they use, go to the bottom of the deck. Or if it's off of one of your abilities, like Overwhelm. Or their activate mains, which they both have an activate main, which is you pitch this card from your drop to your warp. You get to choose a unison from your in play and put it in the drop area. This card warps a card 4 or less, and then this card draws you a card. That's why, I mean, currently I'm only running 2 of, mainly just to have the extra target for the Gohan and Trunkses. But in theory, I would run 4 of these currently, since I don't have the promo card that I haven't brought up yet. These 2 cards here are 1-drop uniques. And they both say if you have 3 or more energy and you have more than 15 cards in your drop area, they both gain 11k. Gohan gains double strike, Trunks gains crit. So these are 1-drop 15k crit, 1-drop 15k double strike. That's really good in this deck, considering this is a deck that plays out a lot of stuff for very, very, very low cost or for free. So being able to play a bunch of free play stuff and then drop a 1-drop that has crit or has double strike and swing with it, your opponent's going to have to respect this because this card's going to be active probably turn 3. And then that's going to be your awakened turn, so you're able to go into a bunch of other plays. But like I said, truthfully, I should be running 4 of these of each and not the premonitions. But I wanted to show them in the deck just because they will be viable in the deck once get my hands on the TP program. So now we do have the Gohanks engine. And we have Marvelous Might, and then we have the Master Student Union. So both of these cards kind of have the same effect where you can choose a Gohan and Trunks from your drop area, send them to the warp, and then you can play this card out. The Marvelous Might is a 2 cost, and the Master Student is a 1 cost. Now, this card here comes out for 2, comes out into play as a 20k crit, where then you can activate main, you can put this card in the drop area, and then play out a Son Gohan and Trunks from your drop or your warp. Is it drop in warp or drop in deck? This one is... Oh, it's actually, this one's just from the drop. No, it is drop in deck, yeah. That's what I thought it was. The Gogeta stuff, the black Gogeta stuff is drop in warp. So, so you can play out a Trunks and a Gohan from your drop or your deck. Since these cards... these cards go back into your deck from the warp, you can pick those. Or you can pick these here, the 1-drop unique attackers. So it allows you to swing in for 20k, and then you can pitch this to then play out 2 more attacks. Especially once you have more than 15 cards in your drop, or if this is your 15th card in the drop, these cards come into play. They gain 11k. Trunks gains crit. Gohan gains double strike. It's very, very annoying to deal with. Master and Student here comes out for 1. And this card says you draw the card, and then you get to choose, if you don't have a unison in play, you can choose a 15k unison to play out with a marker on it. Now, currently, as you guys saw in this deck, we're not running the unison that this is made to work with, which is going to be the Pycon. It's mainly because I don't have the tournament TP card, so I'm just running the actual Gohanks unison just because it's easier to play out currently. But this allows you to, whenever you mill this, you can play this out for 1, play this out with the marker on it, and now you have access to your unison that's allowing you to +1 to your 1-drop black battle cards, which would be these type of cards. So you actually can +1 to this and the Gohan and make them 25k base, crit, and double strike, which can be pretty nasty. So, but yeah, we don't run the Pycon currently just because the TP's not out. The TP card is called Apocalyptic Future, I believe. I'll put the card on screen here. You play it out for, I think it's free. Yeah, it comes out for free. Activate main, you play it out for free from the drop, and you send the Trunks and the Vegeta, the Trunks and the Gohan from the drop to the warp, and then you play this card out for free. And then for 1 energy, you can put this card at the bottom of your deck and then play out a unison with 15k power. So it allows you, it's a free play. It's not, I won't say it's not a necessity, but being able to play it with the Pycon is just another way of just being able to play out the Pycon +1 or -3 on its effect, which allows you to play out a 6-drop card with Union Fusion, which neither one of these actually count for, unfortunately. But that's my phone there, sorry. And it's useful for just being able to play out Pycon, but these cards will still probably be played in the deck, just because it just gives you, it's a second engine, it just gives you more push, especially this card because it allows you to draw one. What else we got here? So we have 4 BMS. Any deck should run some form of BMS, whether it's in the main board or the sideboard. For this deck, since we free play a lot of stuff, we can just play them out in the main. And then 2 Haru Haru. Haru Haru, if you have a Unison in play, the card gains 10k in double strike, so another 1-drop 10, it's another 1-drop 15k double strike card that you can play out. Just adding more value to this very low to the ground deck. Super combos, just run 4 super combos. Pick any any super combo that you have. It doesn't really matter too much. If you have the Vegeta, the one that bottom decks a card and draws 2, that one's much better. But this one's fine. You got 4 life. Draw a card. 3 boos. This is your drop area boo. So you activate for 1. You put in the drop area. From the drop to the warp. At the end of your turn, pitch a card. Draw 2. Allows you to cycle through your hand a little bit more. 4 power burst. Only negate that we run in the deck. We're going to be pushing, so sometimes we'll even charge this card, but you can use it for defensive purposes. You can Sparking. Sparking is always going to be live in this deck, and for 1 energy, you can take out a 1-drop from your drop or your warp, add it to your hand. Double Strikers, 2 for the Trunks and Chappas, 1 Kraken Spacetime. Kraken Spacetime works for your leader, gives it 15k in double strike, and then these give any card 10k, and you can think it's the one that you can choose. No, you just choose one of the attacking cards. Yeah, so you basically just give a card double strike, and it's pretty phenomenal in that sense. You need double strike cards like this in the deck, even though we run some double strike stuff, but we have, like, the crit Trunks, things like that. There's the crit Gohanks. If we're swinging with that and our opponent says no negates, we can throw one of these bad boys on it, make it 30k, 35k double strike crit. It makes it a little more difficult to deal with. And the last card is Fu the Dark Banisher. This deck's too low to the ground to need a secret rare, honestly. Turn 4, game should be over by then, but with this, you play this card out, and then you can go ahead and burst all your cards. Hopefully you hit more cards, but this is a 25k triple attack. Your opponent activates a skill, you have to warp a card from their hand. So if they activate a super combo skill, they activate any sort of battle card skill, whatever it is, they have to warp a card. Some decks can't get rid of this card, which is bad for them. They can't remove this card on the turn that you play it. You're gonna be able to take so much value from them, especially if you have your leader. You have your leader swing, you have your unison swing. Hopefully it's a dual attack double strike unison swing. You have all your battle cards, all your free plays on board, all your 1-drops. You have so many swings that you can go with, and this card just kind of seals the deal for you. But that's what I have for the Vegex. I think this Vegex engine, so it's very low to the ground, very fast, could easily kill someone on turn 2, turn 3, and you have a lot of small cards that just your opponent's not going to want to combo over, but they're going to have to, just because you have so many different avenues to swing at them. So that's what I got so far. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.